Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we'll be doing a detailed camera review of the latest smartphone under the Reno series from Oppo, the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. So Oppo Reno 7 Pro comes with a triple camera setup. In fact, this is a 50 megapixel Sony sensor, and we also get a 32 megapixel Sony sensor for the selfie camera. So Oppo calls this device the portrait expert, and let's see how much of that is true in this detailed camera review. So before getting into the detailed camera review, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's first have a look at the camera hardware. The Oppo Reno 7 Pro comes with a 50 megapixel Sony IMX766 sensor, and this is the flagship sensor with f1.8 aperture. There is also a secondary 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a third 2 megapixel macro sensor. We also have a color temperature sensor included. Now for selfies, we have a 32 megapixel Sony IMX709 sensor, and what Oppo claims, this sensor comes with industry first hardware level DOL HDR. It also is an RGBW sensor instead of the traditional RGB sensor, and this all allows more light to enter. So let's see how much of this is true and how good the camera performance is for this price segment. So first let's have a look at the daylight shots. The 50 megapixel sensor does a good job in bringing details, and the colors are also quite good and mostly natural looking, and there is absolutely no saturation issues. Even the sky colors looks good and they're mostly natural looking. The sharpness levels are quite good, and this is evident when you pixel peep, but at the same time there is a bit of noise evident in the images. The dynamic range is once again very good and works pretty well. While the colors are kept natural, sometimes the images lack a bit of vividness. This is good and bad at the same time. For people looking for vibrant images for social shares, they might be in for a disappointment, but people looking for natural colors, they would be happy with the overall results. Overall, we like the quality of daylight shots offered by the Reno 7 Pro. The 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera does a good job in maintaining the details, and colors are mostly as good as a primary sensor, while the sharpness levels are decent and you can see a bit of blur and noise when you pixel peep, but it's still a usable ultra wide angle camera. Now moving on to the close-up shots, the phone comes with pretty good imaging capabilities once again, and the colors are pretty good again, and it does not oversaturate. The sharpness levels are quite good too. The phone comes with a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and the performance is not great. The 2 megapixel shooter has colors washed out and lacking in details. Oppo should have provided a better macro sensor here. It lacks details and noise is evident too. Now moving on to the portraits, this is one of the most important aspects and the main strength of the camera, and it is called a portrait expert for a reason. The images came out really well and excellent edge detection too. The skin tones are also very good. There are various modes on offer, including flare bokeh portraits, and you can also add filters and also adjust the bokeh. So there is plenty of options to play around for portraits, and Oppo Reno 7 Pro is indeed a portrait expert here. Next up, the low light captures. The low light performance of Reno 7 Pro actually surprised it. In indoor lighting conditions, it performed pretty well with good results overall, and they are mostly natural looking. When you move to night mode, the Oppo Reno 7 Pro produces images mostly natural looking. This means images aren't bright nor it adds up the exposure. It looks almost similar to the real condition. The images have good details, and this is evident when you pixel peep. But at the same time, noise does creep in a bit in extreme low light. Here again, some might not like the night mode implementation, but it is kept to natural here. Finally, the selfie camera. The 32 megapixel selfie camera does produce great selfies. Once again, we like the skin tones of the selfies, and colors looks good too, along with good dynamic range as well. Since selfies are more of a personal choice, you can judge based on the images shown. The phone also comes with portrait modes for selfies, and here it does an impressive job with portrait selfies. You can play around with tons of modes to customize, along with the setting the aperture value for bokeh. You can also take group selfies with the phone, and portrait is also available for group selfies. Overall, the selfie quality is impressive. So this is the 1080p video recording using the front camera on the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. So you can judge yourself how good the quality of the video is and also the audio output from the front camera on the Reno 7 Pro. So this is the portrait mode on the Oppo Reno 7 Pro camera. So you can choose from different portrait options. You can see that the background is blurred now. So you can see how good the edge detection and how good the quality of the bokeh is on this portrait mode on the video recording. Now moving on to the video recording, the phone can record 4K at 30 FPS without stabilization. The 4K footage looks sufficiently sharp, but colors are slightly messed up. But since the 4K footage does not offer stabilization, it can't be used for moving footages, and lack of 4K at 60 FPS at this price segment is definitely a downside. The phone also supports 1080p at 60 FPS, and here once again the video quality looks good, but no stabilization is offered here. The colors are better than the 4K footage though. The 1080p at 30 FPS supports stabilization, and here the quality is pretty good. The colors are good and details are also quite good for the segment. But stabilization implementation isn't the perfect, and this is definitely not a class leading. The ultra wide angle camera can do 1080p footage with EIS offered, and it looks quite good in terms of overall quality. There is also a movie mode on offer wherein you can control the exposure and ISO and other parameters while recording, and it is in 21:9 format. The phone also supports slow motion and the quality is quite good. You can also choose between 120, 240 and 960 FPS with motion tracking. There is also ultra steady mode on offer, and it is recorded in 1080p at 60 FPS, and footage looks sufficiently sharp and has good details too. So this is the portrait mode on the rear camera, so you can see how good the quality is and how good the blur is using the rear camera portrait video mode. So this is the dual video mode on the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. So you can set the rear camera as well as the front camera while recording, and you can also set the layout. There are multiple layouts, so including square, rectangle. So this has to be set before the video recording starts. So this is the dual video mode on the Oppo Reno 7 Pro. So that was a detailed camera review of the Reno 7 Pro. So summing up, the camera on the Reno 7 Pro impressed us in multiple areas, including daylight, portraits, low light, and impressive selfies. The camera is truly a portrait expert with tons of modes to play around with your portraits, and this also includes videos too. At the same time, there are few negatives in the camera, which include macro photos and video recording, as EIS is not offered in this price segment. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Reno 7 Pro? Do share in your thoughts in the comment section. This is Dhamal signing off with the camera review of the Reno 7 Pro. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.